It's August, Friday the 13th. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. As the Ministry of Health and Wellness continues its drive to administer over 700,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines by the end of September, the regional health authorities will activate 23 vaccination Blitz sites across 11 parishes on Saturday and Sunday, August 14 and 15, 2021. Members of the public are invited to make appointments in order to be vaccinated. However, walk-ins are welcomed at the vaccination sites. Appointments can be made using the registration portal at www.moh.gov.jm or calling the National Vaccination Hotline at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. Persons should take their vaccination card for a second dose, TRN, and government-issued identification or letter from a justice of the peace at the sites. Up to 3 p.m. on Thursday, August 12, the ministry had administered some 391,076 doses of COVID-19 vaccine, 255,961 first doses, 134,186 second doses, and 929 single doses. The ministry's goal remains to have 65% of the Jamaican population vaccinated by March 31, 2022. The following locations will be open to the public on the weekend for the Blitz.
This weekend, we intend to have the following. Saturday, August 14th, we will have in the Sarah, St. Catherine, we'll have St. Jago Park Health Center and the Portmore Heart Academy. St. Thomas, we will have the Jung Supermarket, Moran Bay Square, Moran Bay Health Center, and Seafort Health Center. In the KC, Maxfield Park Health Center. In St. Mary Anglican Church. In Portland, it's the Buff Bay Health Center. St. Anne Belair Farms Market. Clarendon Denby Primary School and Spalding Health Center. St. Elizabeth Barbary Hall Community Center, Santa Cruz Health Center, Black River Health Center, and Junction Health Center. In Mandeville Regional Hospital. In St. James, the Sandals Inn and the Type 5 Health Center. Hanover Lucy Health Center. As it relates to Sunday, we will be at the National Arena. In St. Anne, the Bel Air Farmers Market, Clarendon Denby Primary School, and Manchester Mandeville Regional Hospital. That's on Sunday of this week. So we are active across the country with our regular Blitz operation this Saturday and Sunday, and we urge persons to go out and get vaccinated.
Jamaicans should hear within the next 24 hours which additional brands of coronavirus COVID-19 vaccines are being procured for the island. This as the government steps up its efforts to have more than 700,000 Jamaicans vaccinated by the end of September. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bessessa-McKenzie gave an update at the latest virtual COVID-19 conversation. We are in the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Jacqueline Bessessa-McKenzie, says there has been an increase in daily hospital admissions.
The slide that is there shows in the pink line the average admissions per day, and we can see that the last point there is at just above 70 admissions per day, and we can see that that is past our peak that we had in April, May, in March, April, when we had our last surge.
Increased admissions mean increased bed occupancy. Dr. Bessessa-McKenzie says more than 600 hospital beds are being used for confirmed and suspected cases. She says the high COVID-19 virus positivity rate is spread across the country.
In terms of geographical spread, we are now in a situation where 50 to 75% of communities are being affected with newly confirmed cases widespread across the country. We're seeing in terms of bed occupancy, our hospitals are under extremely high pressure as we very, very quickly are approaching our capacity for COVID management, and therefore that will spill over into our general occupancy. In terms of positivity, we have jumped. We are over 30% at a very high transmission level in country. Our reproductive rate remains at about 1.3, which means that as the numbers go up, more and more persons are being exposed and becoming infected. And our vaccination rate is still at a low level that it would have low effect on transmission.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says vaccination is key to combating the virus, and so the ministry has added mobile components to its Blitz sites. The aim is clear: the more persons vaccinated, the less incidence of hospitalizations and extreme health effects of the virus.
Our church leaders, our civil society leaders, the youth club organizations, the police, the public health officers, of course, the MPs and councillors, we anticipate and expect to be a part of the process that would allow the community-based mobilization. And in that mobilization, we have some convincing to do. And that is to talk to persons who either don't know, don't understand, or need some reassurances. And so the program is to fix an approach that will combine the communication approach with the location approach at the community level.
Minister Tufton says the public will hear more details about the procurement of additional vaccines soon.
We can confirm that next Tuesday we are expected to receive our first batch of Pfizer vaccines, which will come into the island. And we are expecting overall some 608,000 doses of that particular brand. However, the first shipment will be just over 200,000 doses. So the Pfizer vaccine will come in and will arrive Tuesday, August 17, 2021.
Meanwhile, Dr. Tufton says private sector stakeholders have been playing a pivotal role in the national vaccination program. He furthers that they have partnered with the government to maintain a database of persons already vaccinated. The Pan American Health Organization's director, Dr. Carissa Etienne, is making a strong appeal for people to get vaccinated. Addressing a recent media brief, the PAHO boss, who is from Dominica, expressed concern about COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in Caribbean countries.
We have strong immunization programs that are built on decades of delivering vaccines for polio, measles, seasonal flu, and yellow fever, among others. We also have an experienced health workforce that are trained to administer vaccines safely and adept at reaching our most remote communities.
The PAHO director noted that small islands in the Caribbean have limited bed capacity in intensive care units, along with limited numbers of specialized doctors.
I want to make a special appeal to my fellow Caribbean persons to please, we have to be extremely careful. We have limited bed capacity and limited ICU capacity in our small islands. We also, in smaller islands, we have limited expertise in terms of the number of healthcare workers, the number of respiratory therapists, the number of anesthetists. And our health systems will become overwhelmed very quickly. I don't know the sources of the information that is triggering this level of vaccine hesitancy. I can tell you that they are not scientifically proven. And I want to appeal to you to listen to the sources where you have truthful, scientifically based information and evidence.
In the business report, a 15% fare hike has been announced across sections of the transport sector. And we'll take another look at consumer debt, a recurring theme from the Credit Restoration Virtual Summit. We'll get these stories plus our regular market updates in this extended edition with Gabriel Thompson.
Effective Monday, August 16, commuters will see a 15% increase in bus and taxi fares. There will be no change to the fare for the Jamaica Urban Transit Company (JUTC) and Montego Bay Metro. The JUTC currently operates within the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, Spanish Town, and Portmore in St. Catherine. In a statement released on Thursday, the Ministry of Transport and Mining said the rate for the elderly, the disabled, and the children will remain at 50% of the adult fare. This is the first fare adjustment in 8 years. The Transport Authority says the adjustment follows several requests for an increase. It says Cabinet factored in the economic impact of the pandemic on the general public and the resulting effect of the rate of inflation. The Transport Ministry says consultations with the Finance and Public Service Ministry indicates that this increase will affect national inflation by approximately 1%. The ministry is also warning operators that no additional fares should be charged, stressing that it will be, quote, working steadfast in ensuring that this is monitored and maintained, end quote. Members of the public are encouraged to report overcharging to the Transport Authority at 888-991-5687 or via WhatsApp at 876-551-8196. The Transport Ministry says a number of initiatives have been undertaken to improve the sector in order to improve service delivery. Among them is a partnership with the National Council of Taxi Associations and COTA, which is expected to help rid the sector of bad eggs by providing extensive customer service training for operators. There are also plans for the establishment of a hotline to report deviant behavior, which may result in the cancellation and suspension of road licenses and badges. The ministry says while these improvements may be considered small steps, they are steps in the right direction. In Thursday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index advanced by 1,102 points to close at over 418,000 units. Overall, market activity resulted from trading in 92 stocks, of which 34 advanced, 39 declined, and 14 traded firm. The Junior Market Index advanced by 22 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Carreras Limited, and Derrimon Trading Company Limited. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Burrito Investments Limited. Trading firm were Access Financial Services Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica, and Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited. Future Energy Source Company Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with over 5.5 million units, followed by Radio Jamaica Limited with over 1.6 million units, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 1 million units. In foreign exchange trading for Thursday, August 12, the US dollar sold for an average $155.21. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $124.83. The pound sterling traded for $215.91, and the euro sold for an average $182.33. In market data for oil, the Brent benchmark oil price held above $70 a barrel despite heading for a second successive daily decline on Friday after the International Energy Agency warned that oil demand growth is slowing sharply owing to the spread of the coronavirus variants. Brent crude was down 14 cents at $71.17 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude lost 18 cents to $68.91 a barrel. Over the week, the benchmarks are up less than 1%. In this week's edition of Financially Focused, we revisit the Credit Restoration Virtual Summit hosted by President of the Caribbean Credit Restoration Association and financial coach Denise Williams. Industry and Commerce Minister Audley Shaw spoke on consumer debt, how businesses and individuals can get the right assistance and guidance. Here are some highlights.
Access to credit is a valuable benefit which should be protected and managed wisely. An individual with good credit will be able to borrow money easily and will be able to borrow money at better rates. On the other hand, having a bad credit record means the individual has had difficulty in the past with paying back loans or with making payments on time. Lenders are less likely to loan more money to a person with bad credit, making it difficult for that person to buy a car, a house, obtain a credit card, or get money to borrow to start up or to operate your business. Therefore, credit restoration is an important part of the personal and consumer debt management process. The role of consumer credit growth and expansion of consumer financial services on the reduction of informal employment in developing countries is an opportunity to be harnessed. And let me say this. It is said that Jamaica's economy might have as high a level as 40% of informality. And part of the problem with that is either those who are in the informal economy either have no access to credit, or where they do have some access to credit, they have to pay money at extremely high interest rates, which end up making their businesses uncompetitive. The increased availability of consumer credit may naturally necessitate the formalization of transactions and employment procedures. Workers are more likely to demand formal contracts in an environment of inclusive financial services, given the requirement of proof of income for access to loans. Monitoring payments and expenditures under electronic systems is a more effective way of combating informality for the government, given that most jurisdictions aim to improve regulations and infrastructure so as to spread the use of electronic payment technology. When the consumer has an unfortunate financial problem, the first touch point is the banks. However, the role of the bank is to expand the credit, not to restore the consumer's credit and good name with the Credit Reporting Bureau. Since 2010, we have been operating under a credit reporting regime. This means that your water bill, from your water bill to your hire purchase to your mortgage, is reported to our 3 credit reporting agencies. The 2015 Insolvency Act has gone a long way in clearing the legacy of shame that bankruptcy has had in Jamaica. However, there are no credit restoration professionals in the Caribbean. So in an effort to enhance consumer protections, we are committed to establishing an education campaign to make our people financially literate. As such, we applaud the CCRA in taking on the mandate to train professionals in courses such as credit restoration and funding options for small businesses. We need more of this type of training that immediately equips our citizens with the tools to start a career in helping members of the community manage debt with dignity.
You've made mention of different agencies under your ministry. You have EXIM, you have the Companies Office of Jamaica, you have partnership with the Ministry of Finance. There seems to be many moving parts. Yes. So where is there a one-stop shop then? Is there like an information window on the website of your ministry that small businesses who, as you said, are duly registered and transparent, that they can get guidance?
Yes, well, I would channel them. They could go to the Exim Bank. They could go to also the Jamaica Business Development Company, JBDC, and because they're outfitted to working with our SMEs in every way, including formalization and access to credit. Of course, the Development Bank of Jamaica, as you know, does not do direct lending. So they still would have to go through commercial banks. And there are other banks, for instance, Jamaica National has a very, very aggressive small business section that they're very committed to working with small businesses. And I have to say that even the large commercial banks, they are now, don't want to be left out of the game. So they have set aside funding for SMEs at low single-digit interest rates. The key thing, however, that we must stress, and I know that CCRA will help us to stress it, the key thing is get formal.
Yes.
Formality and transparency are
Yes.
critical features of going forward.
And on that note, we close this extended edition of the Business Report Inside the News on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson. Pleasant viewing.
Here are some of the stories making news across the region. In Antigua and Barbuda, 17,500 doses of the Pfizer BioNTech jab arrived at the VC Bird International Airport Thursday afternoon. The donation has been made by the United States and means the country will now be in a position to make the jab available for minors over the age of 12. Terry Andrew reports.
Over 30,000 individuals have been fully vaccinated in Antigua and Barbuda, and none of them are between the ages of 12 and 17. However, that will change with the Pfizer vaccine now a part of the country's arsenal. Health Minister, the Honourable Sir Malwyn Joseph, says children between 12 and 17 will now be given an opportunity to receive their jab.
We have the opportunity to inoculate our children, our school children, and that is extremely important. Why this is important? The data is now showing that most of the infections we are seeing are people in their middle age, and we are seeing an increased rate of infection among our children and some babies. This country cannot afford to leave our children vulnerable.
The Pfizer vaccine is a gift from the U.S. government, and it is the only jab given authorization for both adults and children. The vaccine adds to the 2 others on offer for the general population in this country.
We are going to be, within a relatively short time, within about a week, begin to see the rollout of this Pfizer for both children and adults. And it should also be known that this is only the first tranche. We are likely to get another 2 supply of vaccines in Pfizer.
Another 40,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine will be made available to the country. Country officer at the U.S. Embassy in Barbados, Ambassador Thomas Pbcj, handed over the documents to Sir Malwyn Joseph. He says the U.S. is committed to leading the response to the pandemic.
CARICOM, the United States, is donating 5.5 million Pfizer vaccine doses along with ancillary kits to the 15 member countries of the Caribbean community.
Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honourable E.P. Chet Green, says the options of vaccines available here on island should be an indication of the priority the government is placing on the inoculation exercise.
And I implore people to make the uptake of these vaccines immediate. Prioritize the vaccination of our citizens. This is another clear reflection of a listening government. We have heard that you want not only AstraZeneca, not only Sputnik, but you want Pfizer. Pfizer is here now.
Terry Andrew, ABS News.
In sports, one of the largest contingent left Jamaica on Thursday for the World Athletics Under-20 Championships to be held in Nairobi, Kenya, August 17 to 22. The 41 athletes are all covered under the government's Athletes Insurance Plan. The Athletes Insurance Plan is the government's group health, group life and personal accident plan for all eligible national athletes. Marlon Samuels has more in this report.
Over 1,300 competitors from 156 countries are expected to compete in the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Nairobi, Kenya, which begins August 17.
156 countries. And you're going to be in the top 5.
Most definitely, Minister.
Remember that. So we little, we're a little speck on the map. But we look about we?
Talawa.
We're Talawa. So we're going to go there and we're going to impact. You're going to make an impact. But in saying that, I also want you to understand, win, lose, or draw, you're ours, and we love you. And remember, whatever may happen out there, the important thing is to finish the race. That is, at the end of it all, if you buck your toe, just make sure you finish the race. And just hold your head high and be confident that you're only beginning. So you have your entire life and future ahead of you.
Jamaica's track and field contingent consists of 12 officials and 41 athletes.
The team going to Nairobi consists of 21 boys and 20 girls. And not in any order other than alphabetical order. Devontae Archer, Jeremy Bembridge, Rashawn Clark, Ali Cranston, Sandra Davison, Andrew Gillips, Trevor Gonzell, Siobhan Hall, Taj Ham, Antonia Hansen, Jalen Hibbert, Malachi Johnson, Kavian Carr, Kobe Lawrence, Brian Lavelle, Alexavier Monfries, Ralford Mullings, Gregory Prince, Jordan Turner, Shamara Yuta, and Vashan Vasiano. The female athletes include Alia Baker, Moesha Bridgen, Onika Brissett, Tina Clayton, Tia Clayton, Serena Cole, Dana Dyer, Shante Foreman, Alia Francis, Karika Hill, Brianna Liston, Onika McAnuff, Akira Nugent, Dejanay Oakley, Annalie Robinson, Akela Smith, Shanice Walker, Gabrielle White, Cedrica Williams, and Onika Wilson.
Because of the pandemic, it's been a really difficult period for sports in Jamaica. And to see that you were all able to train in spite of everything and compete, and now you're going off to represent your country, it means that you are committed and you have worked hard. So Usain said, easy is not an option. No days off. Never quit. Be fearless. Talent you have naturally. Skills are only developed by hours and hours of hard work. Those are the words of Usain Bolt. I want those words to ring in your ears. And remember, stay focused, continue to work hard, and continue to make Jamaica proud. You have done the work. You have trained for many, many hours, even throughout these unprecedented times of COVID-19 pandemic. Now it's time to go and enjoy the fruits of your labor. We're going to start by we just elbow around the table as we are now. And what we are creating here is a chain, a link. We're as strong as the weakest link. And so we are strong people. We are proud people. And we will continue to work together to ensure success. Thank you so much.
For the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
In the weather report, Tropical Depression Fred continues to affect sections of the region, but the Meteorological Service says it is not a direct threat to Jamaica. Maximum sustained winds are near 55 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Slow strengthening is expected during the next couple of days, and Fred could become a tropical storm again later today. Tropical Depression Fred is projected to continue moving just north of Cuba. The induced trough associated with the system is expected to be west of the island later tonight into Saturday. The forecast is for periods of shower and thunderstorms to continue to affect eastern parishes of Jamaica and extend across sections of most parishes into the afternoon. And with that, we're out of here. On behalf of our hard-working production crew, we say thanks as always for making it PBCJ, the People's Station.